Jesus, be a fence all around me every day. Jesus, I want you to protect me as I travel along the way. I know you can. Yes, Lord. I know you will. Yes, Lord. Fight my battle. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Lord, be a fence all around me every day. Come on, sir. 'Cause I need protection. 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 Along the way. Along the way. I need protection. 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 Along the way. 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 Be a fence. Jesus, be a fence. Lord, be a fence. Jesus, be a fence. Oh, be a fence. Jesus, be a fence. Oh, Lord. Jesus, be a fence. Jesus, be. Jesus, be a fence. Jesus, be a fence. Oh, Jesus, be. Jesus, be a fence. Jesus, be. Jesus, be a fence. Oh, Lord, be. Jesus, be a fence. Oh, Lord, be. Jesus, be a fence. Oh, Lord, be. Jesus, be a fence. Jesus, be. Jesus, be a fence. Jesus, be a fence. Jesus, be a fence.
Greetings, good people. This is Michelle Lang Raymond, campus pastor here at Warner Pacific University, and welcome to this week's QuiX, our quick chapels. We realize in this new norm of social distancing that it's really easy for all of us to just sort of drift apart, and so we are producing these weekly chapels in an effort to help our campus stay connected. Hope you'll tune in every week. Today's message is actually going to be delivered by Warner Pacific graduate Kyler Vogt, and I'm super excited to hear his words of hope and inspiration for us. Before we go to that, I just want to remind everybody, please continue to stay safe and continue to do as the scripture encourages us, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength, and to love your neighbor as much as you are loving yourself. God bless you. God keep you. Let's hear from Kyler, and we'll see you soon.
Recently, my wife Becky and I sat down to watch the movie The Theory of Everything on Netflix. An essential storyline of that movie is Stephen Hawking and his journey to discover what happened at the very beginning of time. In essence, the question he's trying to answer is how, at one point, was there nothing, and then there was something. Now, as he goes through this process, his theory about that, and I'm not a theoretical physicist in any way, but it essentially revolves around black holes and how black holes absorb everything, including time, so a black hole is nothing. So he says, at the beginning, there was a black hole. But somewhere deep inside that nothing, something happened. Something went bang, something exploded, expanded, burst forth in a way that was so strong it not only overpowered the black hole, but it thrust into motion everything that we know in existence today. And that is still expanding. Now, about 2,000-3,000 years ago, some Hebrew rabbis were asking the exact same question about how did something emerge from nothing. And their approach to it was a little bit different. The way they looked at it, if nothing had been created yet, then the only thing in existence was God. So, God took up all of the space in the entire universe. Everything that was God. This meant that in order for God to create something new, God had to first make space to put that creation into. What they said that God did is retract or pull back in order to make space for new creation to be put into. And that act of retracting, they called zimzum. That's the word they used. God zimzum, and that made space for the creation to happen. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately because the world we live in is always very busy, very fast-paced. It's nonstop. It's go, go, go. But for the first time in most of our lives, all of a sudden, we're finding an abundance of space. Our schools are closed down. The places we work are closed down. Where we spend the rest of our time, sports teams, clubs, groups, social gatherings, everything is closed down, and we have all this extra space. So what do we do with it? In Genesis chapter 1, God speaks into this space and creates light and dark, night and day, creates animals and fish and birds and then human beings, and God looks at all of this that was created and says that this is very, very good. And this is what I believe is the most beautiful gift, or even I could call it the grace of space, this opportunity to create that space gives us. And that's what gives me hope right now, and I hope that's what gives you hope too. That in the midst of all this space, we will see some really new goodness being made. I hope that parents create better relationship with their kids. I hope that our artists paint and build and craft and sculpt. And I hope that musicians write beautiful music to share with us. And I hope that writers write stories that are made of depth and they share those with us as well. And I hope that businessmen will find the next big solution, the next big thing to take our world forward even more. So the question I have for you is, what will you do with all of this space? What are you going to create? Because I know how easy it is, especially in college, when you get some free space to do nothing and rest. And that's good. Doing nothing and resting is good in its own way, but if it goes on long enough, that stops being healthy and actually starts to just hurt not only our bodies, but our mind and our soul when we just sit and do nothing. But instead, this act that we have of creating is an opportunity to be more healthy, to bring newness, to bring a new kind of life into our universe, into our world right now. So, how are you going to do it? What during this time are you going to commit to? Do you want to write? Is there a skill that you've always wanted to learn? What about a language? Is there an idea that you've had that needs fleshing out, that needs structuring? What can you do with this space to create something new? The last challenge that I have for you is when you do this, when you reflect and you think and you decide, okay, here's what I'm going to do with this space, I ask that you share it. Not necessarily with me, but with all of your friends, with your community. When you see this video, go up on Facebook, go down in the comments and say, okay, here's the thing that I'm going to be creating in this space. Or go on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is, and share this so that all around us we're seeing not only this scary message of emptiness and anxiety that we've been feeling, but instead this new message of hope and of creation and goodness that is coming out of it. Because that is the way that the world has always worked. Space makes room for creation. Something comes out of nothing.